Oh, look at the view that Steve Swift is showing to everybody, ladies and gentlemen. If you're watching this on YouTube, yes, you can see a wonderful, wonderful view and a wonderful, wonderful Steve Swift as well. Steve, how you doing this week, my friend?
I'm all right. I'm by the seaside.
Yes, you are. You have a
So that's all
have a
right.
little bit of
Yeah.
you have a little bit of a delay. Let's hope that fixes itself quickly here. Yeah,
Oh,
that's okay.
okay. Okay.
We'll
Okay.
see what happens because we have questions for you, Steve. I have
Oh,
questions. The world has questions. I really need to know, is Dana White really a potato head, or is he just evolving into one? You sent me a message, and I need to know how your brain is working on this one because that is a wild, clever, and almost factual statement. So explain yourself, young man.
it's not me. It's Eddie Hearn.
Ah,
He said that Dana White was a Maris Piper head. Do you have Maris Pipers where you are?
I mean, only if we bring them over. I'm assuming that's a type of a potato.
It's a type of tater,
What would you
and
use that? What would you use the potato for?
well, you can. It's a standard excellent tater, so you can mash that sucker. You could chip it. You could have it as a baked tater. You could do any of those things, but it is a quite. It's not a red skinned tater. It's a white skinned tater. So it's available um, to look like the head of Dana White.
Well, do you guys had Mr. Potato Head? Everybody had a Mr. Potato Head as a kid, right? Some of us had like those first version Mr. Potato Heads, which was like actually a potato, if I'm not mistaken. You just stuck
I had that.
Things in it. Yeah. Well,
Yes.
I mean, growing up in the States, we have two types of potatoes really here. We have PEI potatoes and you have Idaho potatoes. But as far as like types of potatoes, I'm sure that there's these fancy names for them. We have yellow ones, we have brown ones, and we have red ones, Steve. Okay. I don't know where you get all these fucking uppity doo names for them.
What's a peeing eye potato?
PEI is this little island off of the coast of eastern Canada that produces an awful lot of potatoes, and they're very, very delicious. Also, the wrestlers there throw a lot of potatoes too. Stiff tricks. Anyway, shout out to Kingman and Cowboy Mark Hughes.
Did you just start talking about stiff pricks?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. Why? You
I mean,
have something to say about that so we can clip it?
Well, no, it wouldn't be the first time that you would talk about stiff pricks. You can clip that if you like.
You sneaky bugger, you. Listen, has this whole thing gone too far? Are we just getting out of control with this schoolyard craziness with Dana and Eddie Hearn? Because we heard after the Zuffa boxing thing, and rightfully so, Dana had every right in the world to be just puffed up like a peacock, strutting around. It was a fantastic outing that, ruffled a whole lot of feathers, not just Eddie's. Our boy Ben Shalom got a little upset about this one too, apparently.
Yes, I'll go to both of those points. The first point is that Eddie. Yes, your first point actually is yes, it's got too far. It's gone too far. It's playground shit. I don't know if it's a work. It might well be. I think that Eddie Hearn said he hadn't seen because it was at the same time as his fight. So the Josh Padley fight. So he hadn't seen the main event for Zuffa, but he still wanted to talk about it and said that actually there were very few people there and Ben Shalom's boxer had the better output than he did. Now, he's reached out to Ben Shalom a bit recently, so we know that these are simplistically, they're the two camps, DAZN and the rest of them in one and Zuffa Boxing in the other. He's reached out to him, even though Frank Smith from Matchroom Boxing is still attacking him. He's not read the memo. but he's reached out to him a bit, and Ben Shalom has said extraordinarily, and he's got a big announcement tomorrow about Boxer. So I don't know what that is, but I suspect it'll be about taking Zuffa to court, because he has said that those boxers, some of those boxers, including Chris Billam-Smith, I think, who were on that card, were his fighters contracted. Now, Dana White said that's not the case, and it'll play out publicly, but I really don't know what's going on with this.
Here's my guess. It's going to be one of two things. Boxer is either joined forces with Zuffa, they've realized we need to do the right thing, or they've signed on with Eddie Hearn and Matchroom. Think about that. Would it be out of the realm to you, dude, if Eddie was like trying to, I can say this, circle the wagons, so to speak. Yeah, you know what I mean? And try to get everybody together because it's a hell of an outing. It's a hell of an outing for the first time out for Zuffa there. And everybody's saying the same thing that they said when Zuffa first started. We're only 7 shows in, but everybody's still saying, let's see how they are at the end of the year. Well, at this rate, what they're doing and what they're going to do by the end of the year, they're going to be just fine. They're going to be great, actually.
Yeah, I think that the joining up with Matchroom is, I'd suggest that's going to happen, because Eddie also said they're taking liberties with him. And I said to him, you've got to fight back. They're taking liberties. It's almost if he's putting an arm around him and saying, come on, son. Come on, little Ben Shalom.
Yeah, he's totally like big brothering him, right? And he's being much nicer than he's ever been about Ben Shalom. Usually he's got something like, little Ben Shalom, we pick on him in the parking lot type of snide stuff to say about him. He's not doing that this time around. That's what made me think, I can read between the lines, you cheeky bugger. I know what you're getting at right here. And what you're telling us is that there's going to be some joining of forces, right? Because Ben can't fight that fight, but Eddie will stand up with him and he'll help fight that fight against Dana.
Yes, plus what's happened with Ben Shalom recently is that, and Ben Shalom, I've got a lot of time for Ben Shalom, but at the time when I was podcasting about him saying, well, Eddie Hearn saying you've only got 4 shows on BBC, and Ben Shalom saying, well, I've got a lot more than that, and me saying, I think Eddie Hearn's bitter. He actually did have only 4 shows on the BBC, but not anymore, because the BBC are continuing with that deal. And I think that for all his shouting about it, I think Eddie wants the BBC. I really do.
That could be very well. I mean, and then why not? Why not? Sky against BBC, Eddie Hearn against Zuffa, Matchroom against Zuffa. And this is how you slowly work them into the mix. And the next thing you know, we're doing Matchroom versus Zuffa versus, Queensbury. You're doing them all. It's a whole thing is crazy and it's a work. Speaking of Eddie Hearn and things that are probably a work, what is going on with Tyson Fury?
Eddie Hearn, again, is probably right. Because
shut up about that. Oh, no.
He's so gorgeous with those flashing blue eyes and that dark hair. So gorgeous. But the thing is, not you fuckwit. Eddie Hearn. The thing is that he said a while ago when he was talking, I think, about, it was during the Christian Prenger and Anthony Joshua announcement. And he really talked it up. And he's bloody good at that. He's a really good hype man. And he was talking about, well, we think that because Tyson Fury needs another warm-up fight, that he's frightened because he didn't get what he wanted after the 12 rounds against Arslanbek Makhmudov. But I have a hot take on this.
Please.
My hot take is that he didn't do well against Arslanbek Makhmudov, and he's expecting us and you, me and you, and other boxing punters to see him against Nelson Heiser, the Albanian Eagle, if it is him, 22 big knockouts against people you don't know. We can watch him and watch him beat up Nelson Heiser or whoever it is, and we'll completely forget about his struggle against Makhmudov, a slightly better opponent.
So what you're saying is that Tyson Fury needs to pump up his tires a little bit before he goes in and fights anybody of any kind of status or stature inside of the heavyweight division.
Yeah, I think it's affected his ego. I think that the struggle against Makhmudov has affected his ego, which I think is affecting the way he feels about the fight with Anthony Joshua. And I think he needs an easy win to pump that up and to feel good about himself.
But that's what he thought Makhmudov was going to be.
He did.
Right? He thought that was going to be an easy win for him, and it didn't work out so well. Like, stay retired then, bro. Just stay fucking retired. You've got the money. You've got the fame. You've got a TV show. Come on. What do you need to be in there muddying up the heavyweight division for, you shithouse?
Because he just loves the boxing, shithouse. He just loves the boxing. That's why. I just want to come back for the boxing. Boxing is dead, and I am boxing. Right? That's not a great comment.
No, I knew exactly who it was. I knew exactly who it was. Absolutely. Now, speaking of guys and whining, is Rico Verhoeven on the whinometer with you as well this week, Steve?
He's a 9 out of fucking 10. I mean, he's been quiet this week, but I mean, first of all, on the way to the airport, he puts in an appeal against that Mark Lyson premature. We say it was premature. It was stoppage. He said he felt that people were saying, why did you go for him in the 11th round? Of course, the implication being leaving himself open to an almighty thump, which put him down. He said, because people were saying you were on the winning side on all the scorecards. Well, that would be other people's scorecards, wouldn't it? So, they're not the official scorecards unless you're saying you saw them before the 11th round. So all of this whining, I believe, and I've been quite voluble about this in my podcast, I think it will prevent him from picking up fights that could be good for him, because he'll hold on to Usyk, and that will be a problem for him. I think he won't be able to let it go. And he's got a load of really good fights that he could do for lots of spondulics, but he really wants Usyk again.
But what fights in the heavyweight division do you go to at his level? Well, let's be realistic here. At his level, what fights do you go to that are out there that aren't going to be Netflix fights? Because I say you fight Francis Ngannou.
I agree, but Mauricio Suleiman does not agree with you, because he didn't put him at the top, as he said, of the top 10 rankings in the WBC, but he did put him at number fucking 8. He's got a 1-1 record. And when you put someone who is actually a champion, you put him, or a mandatory challenger, Sanchez, below him, and you don't even put Murat Gassiev in your top 10, and he's a champion, it's shocking. But that means that even though I agree with you that Ngannou would be a great fight for him, or as you say, Alistair Overeem, something like that, then that's not going to happen, because, well, it might happen, but actually he'll be thinking, oh, I could fight all sorts of great boxers here, because he's in that top 10. It's nonsense.
You know the fight that happens. You know what they're trying to make happen. They'll try to make it. I think this is why Eddie, the Eagle, the mastermind, the sneaky fucker behind the scenes here, this is why he wants that UFC heavyweight champion, Tom Aspinall, out of his contract. Because then you take Tom Aspinall and you take Rico Verhoeven and you put them on fucking Netflix, Steve. You put them on Netflix for Jake Paul. That's what you do, and there's the money. That's the fight for Rico. That's it.
Yeah, it is. If Rico, you're right. Again, you've done it again. You've done it again, Holmes. Although he's not Eddie the Eagle. That was somebody totally fucking different.
Oh.
You're getting your Eagles mixed up.
Sorry, I'm messing up my British superstars. Apparently, both of them are famous for going fucking downhill. That's what I'm saying, Steve. Okay, what?
How dare you take the piss out of my boyfriend Eddie Hearn? How dare you, with his flashing blue eyes and beautiful dark good looks? Now, you can clip that if you like. I think you're absolutely right, but I don't think Rico Verhoeven will want to take that fight for two reasons. He still feels that he should have beaten Usyk, so he can't let go of it. Okay. Although we've not heard from him this week, as I say, so he might be better. And I think he thinks he's a definite contender for a championship.
Well, then that brings me to my question then, because what does Usyk do? What's next for Usyk now then?
It's a mess. So when when I retire, I will have my pensions in place. I will, I'll just get my slippers on and I'll be prepared for this. And nobody will be whispering in my ear, you need to fight this person. You need to fight that one. He's got a retirement plan. I mean, as I say, retirement, because he's going to come back and fight for boxing in their Legends division. I believe this. So he's got a retirement plan that was actually he was in control of. So Rico Verhoeven, either Ajit Kabayel or the winner of Wardley and Dubois, and then Greedy Belly Tyson Fury. That is gone, and he is now having to. I mean, even I think Jarrell Miller has said he'll fight him. So that is even. I mean, Shannon Briggs hasn't said it yet, but it is a good thing. But I think he needs to control his narrative, because loads of people are saying you need to fight me next. Ajit Kabayel is really going for it. Every week he's saying, you fight me. And he's got a sort of countdown. It's a week since the WBC told you to make the fight, drop the belt, or fight me. So he's getting agitational.
We saved that, ladies and gentlemen. We worked towards that for the whole show. Thank you. Here's the thing. Does Usyk come across to you as the kind of guy who gives a shit about the belts, though? Like let's say that Usyk decided to be like, have all your belts back. I'm going to keep my money instead of giving it to you, and I'm going to go fight over Zuffa and just make money. And that's that. And put over their heavyweight, because everybody's still going to be able to understand the fighter that is Oleksandr Usyk. And nobody gives a shit about the belt when it's on somebody else, right? Who was the heavyweight champion 3 champions ago? Exactly. Everybody's forgotten by now. You know what I'm saying? So go make your money. You can't, like I've said all over and over, Steve, you can't go to the bank with a belt.
No, you're absolutely right. And he needs to grab hold of this probably next week, because the longer it goes on, the more other people are making him look like a dick. So, yes, he could say, well, WBA and IBF, I drop your belts. And they would say, well, you've done nothing with them anyway, you fucking arsehole. Perhaps they'd say that. I don't know if they would, but they might have done, because he hasn't done anything with them, and it grinds my gears. And he could say to Mauricio Sullivan, you know how you were really nice to me to do my fantasy booking thing with Rico Verhoeven? Have them. So he could do that. Not that he's going to say that either. But you're right. He could then say, as he said a while ago, I just want to have fun. Boys just want to have fun. So he might then say, and I'll fight Rico Verhoeven for nothing, for no belt in Zuffa.
Maybe he just needs to walk into the office and just sit down with Suleiman, sit down with the rest of them, and just remind everybody.
Come to the children. Wu-Tang is for the children. We teach the children.
Mauricio would be down with that. And listen, I want Oleksandr Usyk to understand that I wasn't saying he was saying those things, because I think he knows whereabouts I live, kind of. So I really need to reiterate that, Oleksandr. I have the utmost respect for you.
Well, there it is. We're going to leave it on that note, Steve, because I don't need to get hunted down by the Ukrainian whatever that runs with Oleksandr Usyk. Listen, it's a big ocean out there. Hopefully they cannot pinpoint your position. But if they do, Steve, if they do, just remember, like I always say here, before you jump in the water, tuck your chin.